Welcome to a brief overview of PSSA testing on a Chromebook. The first and possibly most important thing is how to access the PSSAs. When students go to access the PSSAs, the first thing they're going to need to do is sign out or restart their Chromebook. They do not sign back into the Chromebook. Instead, on the sign-in screen, they click Apps in the bottom left corner of the screen. Then select DRC Insight Online Assessment. Select Pennsylvania, and then the appropriate options. There is a way for teachers and students before the PSSAs to understand what the testing platform looks like. That would be this website that you find at the bottom right. We're going to use this website today to go through two different features. The first one is the DRC Insight Online Assessment Tutorials. These are great for reviewing the different types of questions and how they will appear on the screen. When you see this screen, pick any appropriate subject for you. Start on the left and work your way down. Notice in the advanced tools that there's a number next to the different question types. That is the grade that has that type of question on the PSSA assessment. The next thing we're going to look at is the online tools training. The online tools training gives you a demo of different questions on the PSSAs and allows you to explore the different tools that the students will have. Note a few things, that even if the question is in inches, the students will have inches and centimeters as a possible ruler. Also, in grades 4 and above, there is an equation builder that will help them answer some math questions. Teachers and schools can make the decision if they want students to use the online calculator or an independent calculator like you've likely done in the past. If there are any questions, please see Appendix E for the PA calculator policy. This is what the online calculators look like: a basic calculator, a scientific calculator for some higher grades, and then also a graphing tool calculator. All of these can be explored in the online tools training. Here's a little overview of the testing process. More details can be found in your test administration manual. A summary of the steps leading up to testing. First, teachers are going to distribute the student login tickets to students. Inform your SAC of any missing or incorrect student login tickets. Ensure that students with accommodations noted on their student login tickets are seated at a computer or have access to the appropriate accommodations. Review test directions with students. The code of conduct will be taken on the first day of PSSA testing. It's essentially a one-question test. These are the directions you will give. When the students are done, you're going to read the text in bold and tell them to end the test and then move on to section 1. Throughout the testing process, students can answer questions, leave them unanswered, or flag them. They'll see this screen before they submit their test so they can make sure that all of their questions are answered and answered correctly. When submitting the test, they're going to first hit End Test. Then this warning will pop up and they can either return to review or actually submit the test. There is a pause button for testing. This pause button will last for 20 minutes. It's a countdown timer that appears. All other information on the screen will be removed and this countdown timer will be there, but all highlights, flags, cross-offs, and sticky notes will remain within the test. If the student does not resume the test within 20 minutes of selecting the pause button, he or she will be exited from the test. The student will be able to use the same test ticket to log back into the assessment. This is what the pause screen looks like. The timer is for 20 minutes. The exit function should be utilized if a student needs to exit the test session without submitting his or her answer for scoring. The student should not end the test if he or she has not completed the assessment. The student will be able to use the same test ticket to log back into the assessment. All of the highlights, flags, cross-offs, and sticky notes will remain within the test session. If there is an extenuating circumstance in which the student cannot complete the test in the same day, contact your school assessment coordinator for guidance. There's a difference between exiting and ending the test. The exit function should be utilized if a student needs to exit the test session without submitting his or her answers for scoring. The student will be able to use the same test ticket to log back into the assessment. The end test function will end and submit the student's test. If a student does this accidentally before they are ready to, please contact your SAC. When students are finished the test, Collect all student login tickets after students have completed testing and return them along with the student login roster to your SAC. Collect any optional materials like calculators. Collect scratch and grid paper and any other paper on which students have written. If students do need extra time, make sure that they pause the assessment before they transition. They carry their own Chromebook just to avoid mix-ups with the Chromebooks. The Chromebook screen lid should remain open while they're carrying it. Go directly to the extended time room area. Breaks can be given later or after a second pause to reset the 20-minute countdown clock. Interruptions. In the event that a whole class needs to stop testing, like a fire drill or electrical outage or other emergency, the TA should instruct all students to either pause or exit the test. If the student is not finished with the test, the student should not end the test. The student should select the pause button and then the exit button. If students do not pause or exit the test, an inactivity feature will also exit the student from the test if any mouse and/or keyboard activity is absent for 20 minutes. If students will return within 20 minutes, instruct all students to pause their assessment and the TA may pause their assessment for them. If they do not pause, the test will automatically exit the student after 20 minutes of mouse and/or keyboard inactivity. If students will not return within 20 minutes, instruct all students to exit the test. Select pause and then exit, or the TA may exit the test for them. If it is uncertain whether students will return within 20 minutes, instruct all students to pause their test, or the TA may pause their test for them. When the students are done the test, they need to submit their test online. They're going to shut down their Chromebook and not just close the lid, but turn it off. The TAs are going to collect any tickets or other testing materials from the students, just like you would a testing booklet, and then follow all procedures outlined in your PSSA directions. Chromebook shortcuts. All students will get a paper copy of the Chromebook shortcuts to help them navigate while taking the test. Here's a quick reference for you. Preparing for the PSSAs. To make sure that the Chromebooks are ready for students, there's a few things they need to do. First is open up their settings and check that their keyboard is set to US. Next is open up their settings, search display, and make sure their display is set to 100%. Before the test, they're going to need to restart their Chromebook, not just shut the lid. Students also need to bring in their Chromebook and make sure it is fully charged. I will share a video shortly that will help you in more detail guide you and your class through these steps to make sure that all Chromebooks are ready for the PSSAs. We're going to end with a reminder that the students are going to access the PSSAs in a very unique way. They're going to sign out or restart their Chromebook. They're not going to sign back in. Instead, they're going to click Apps in the bottom left corner of their screen, and then select DRC Insight Online Assessment. Then select Pennsylvania, and then log into their PSSAs. This presentation was a brief overview of some procedural changes for giving the PSSAs on a Chromebook. Please make sure to review your test administration manual thoroughly before administering the PSSAs. Thank you very much.